Hello chess fans, this is Rick from Chess to Impress with another viewers game sent to me as part of the collaboration between the largest chess Facebook group Chess Teachers and Learners and this YouTube channel Chess to Impress. If you want your game to be analyzed and published in video format, please post it on the Chess Teachers and Learners Facebook group and please tag my Facebook name Rick Chess to Impress so I can find your post. This game was sent in by Danny Saylor, who is named Samuel on chess.com. It is a 30-minute game and Danny, or Samuel, was white in this game. Let's call him Danny for the purpose of this video, as that is his Facebook name. Danny had a rating of 426 on chess.com and his opponent was Marville with a rating of 405. Let's have a look at the game. Danny opened with the e-pawn e6, that's a French defense, d4, d5 and now knight c3. Knight f6 and here bishop g5 is the main move according to theory. Also e5 is very popular, the advanced French, but here Danny chooses bishop d3 to protect that e4 pawn one more time. The main move here, according to theory, is c5, but black decided to take in the center. Knight takes, and now a move like knight bd7 has to be played here, but black chose e5, and this is already a new move which has never been played before, at least according to my database it hasn't. And it's not a very good move, so not surprising that I could not find it in the database, because it just drops a pawn. Danny could have taken on e5, attacking the knight, and let's look at this line. Knight takes e4 for example, bishop takes, and the queens come off the board. Yes, white loses his castling rights. Knight c6 attacking the e5 pawn, and knight f3 defending that pawn and developing the knight, and this is just an extra pawn for white. The fact that its king cannot castle is not a big issue in this position without the queens. So that is possible after e6, e5 from black, but Danny played another move. He played knight f3. c6 is a bad move. What black could have played here is knight takes e4 instead. Bishop takes e4 and then there is f5. And if you go back to d3 there is e4 and that forks two pieces. But after knight f3, knight takes e4 was not played, black played c6. There goes that pawn, and now black can take on d4 with the queen to restore material balance, but black decided to take on e4. And bishop takes e4, and now the d pawn is defended by the queen on d1. So this is an extra pawn for white, for Danny. f6 is a bad move. Black tried to kick that knight away, but Danny could have punished his opponent. Not very easy for a 400 player. But look at this line, Danny. Queen h5 check, and if you play g6, then you're going to sacrifice the bishop to get at black's king. Queen takes, and this is mate in two. King e7, queen f7 check, and a nice checkmate with the knight. So that after f6 and then queen h5 check. Then he didn't see it and he played a bad one. He played knight g4 and now black could have punished that move with f5 with another fork, winning a piece. Black didn't see it. He played bishop b4 check, c3 and now c5, leaving that bishop on b4 emprise. And then he said, thank you very much, I'll take your piece. C takes, check, white is a full piece up. Knight c6 and d5, good move from Danny. The knight is pinned, so will white win another piece? Well, we also have to see that the knight on g4 is hanging. Bishop takes g4 wins a piece for black. And black played it, and now f3 was played, kicking the bishop back, and now it's time to take that piece on c6. D takes c6 because the knight is no longer pinned. But Danny didn't play it, he castled instead. And now queen b6 was played, and here you should slide the king over to h1, out of danger. Then he played rook f2 instead. In itself not a terrible move, but you don't want to pin your own pieces. This is what we call a self-pin. The rook can now not move because it's pinned. And now really black should have saved his knight, for example knight e5, and the game goes on with even material. But black played a5, and now Danny could have taken that piece. He didn't, he played queen c2. Both players fail to recognize that that piece on c6 can just be taken. Black castled, you can still take on c6, but bishop f4 was played, rook f7, queen d3, and that is actually a blunder, queen d3, not because you should have taken on c6, but now there is that f5 move again. This time it's not a fork, but the bishop on e4 is trapped. It has no squares and will be taken on the next move. So queen d3 is not a good move. Rook e7 was played instead of f5, winning the piece. Rook e1 and knight e5. Finally black decides to save his knight. Attacking the queen dropped back, a4, and here I think it's time to slide the king over to h1 to make sure that rook on f2 can play again. But Danny decided on g4, lashing out on the king side. And look at this move from black. He took that pawn, not realizing that it was defended. So white wins a piece after all. a3, d6 attacking the rook dropped back, and b3 to make sure there is no passed pawn for black appearing on the queen side. Bishop takes g4, material-wise black has 2 pawns for the knight. Then he gave a check, king stepped aside, queen f7 and g5. Double question mark, because do you see the mate in one? It is very easy. Queen takes h7 would have finished this game on the spot. But then he didn't see the mate in one, he played d7 instead. Also a good move, but mate in one is better. G takes f4, wins a piece, but of course there's a rook hanging on the e8. Well, there's also a checkmate hanging on h7. But then he took on e8, get a new queen with check. Black gave the rook for the new queen, queen takes, king g7, bishop back to c2, and that's a good move, getting that rook into the attack on black's king. h5, there's nothing better for black, he is busted. Rook e7 check, king went to h6, and now there is another mate in one with queen g6. But then he played queen f8 check, prolonging the game for a few more moves. King g5, another check, king h4 only move, and here rook e4 is the best move, threatening to take on f4 to close the mating net. Then he played king g2 instead, and after this check he went to f3. Be careful, don't go in open space with your king, because then suddenly there might be some counterplay from black. Black could have tried bishop g4 check, but instead he decided to sacrifice the queen. Then he said, thank you, I'll take your queen. b5, queen takes f6 check, king g4, and now there are 2 mating moves. If you want to look for yourself, get some mate in one practice, put the video on pause and find the 2 mate in ones. Rook g7 is checkmate, and also bishop f5 is checkmate. Then he played queen g6 check, he did not see the mate in one. King h4, rook g7, f3, and now there are 3 checkmate moves in one move with the queen, queen f6, or queen g3, or queen g5. They are all checkmate. In the game, then he decided to take the pawn. One last spy check, king f4, bishop e2, and finally there is mate in one, queen g3, checkmate. And what a roller coaster of a game it was. Danny always had the upper hand, but he gave black several chances to get back into the game. One tip for Danny and his opponent would be to have a look on every move for possible checks, possible captures, and are there any threats in the position. Checks, captures and threats. by checking the position for these on every move. That will help you to bring your game to the next level. And do as many tactical puzzles as you can, Danny. There are lots of them on chess.com and other chess platforms. And one last tip, be materialistic. Grab your opponent's stuff. If he's giving it away, then you say, thank you very much, I'll take your pieces. Chess is quite a materialistic game. We gladly take pieces when they are offered to us. But well played, Danny. You clearly are a better chess player than your opponent, and in this game you were able to show that. Thanks to Danny for sending me this game, and as I mentioned at the start of the video, if you want your game to be analyzed and showcased in video format, please post it on the Chess Teachers and Learners Facebook group. The link is in the description box of this video. When you do so, please tag my Facebook name, Rick Chess to Impress, so that I can find your post in between the many other posts on the Chess Teachers and Learners group. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, please subscribe to the Chess to Impress channel, and please leave a comment. I will read them all and I will reply to them all. If you like the video, it would be great if you could share it on social media by clicking the share button on YouTube. You can find me on Instagram, on Twitter and on Facebook. This is Rick for Chess to Impress. Thank you for watching.